In this video, we'll be reviewing set number 75382, the UCS Tie Interceptor. It's an 18 plus set with 1,931 pieces, coming in at $229.99. This is also one of the sets celebrating the 25 years of LEGO Star Wars. Now, after opening up the box, you are greeted with 22 bags. Yep, that's correct, 22 bags, as well as a very informative and detailed instruction manual. Now, I would definitely give this instruction manual a read. It goes into detail over the Tie Interceptor as well as the designer of it, so I think that's pretty sweet. Now, also, you get a sticker sheet, but these sticker sheets are very detailed, and I really do like that sticker that has the TIE Fighter symbol on there. But with a $230 set, I wish these were printed, but it is what it is. Now that we've gotten the box opening experience, the instruction manual, and how many bags you get out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at the exclusive minifig that you'll be getting in this UCS set, as well as the buildable mouse droid. So first off, let's take a look at the TIE Interceptor pilot that you're going to be getting with this UCS set. Now, this is an exclusive minifig to the set, so if you're wanting to get this minifig, you're obviously going to have to buy the set. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. So when we take a look at this, and I'm going to get that light to shine just perfect, we have leg printing, we have front and also back torso printing, and then you also have some printing on the helmet as well. And again, as always, the helmet is very, very detailed. Now, you do have arm printing on the side, and this side as well. Okay, and then removing the helmet, unfortunately we only get one face printing, but the face printing, every time I see this face printing, it's just so funny looking. He has this mean little smirk, but again, it's only one face printing. There's no printing on the back. But yes, very detailed minifig, but you wouldn't expect anything less from a UCS set. Also included with the set is going to be this little buildable mouse droid. I don't know. I think this guy is so cool with his little wheels. I don't know. I just like it. Also accompanying your exclusive minifig as well as that mouse droid on the base of the TIE Interceptor is going to be your 25 years of LEGO Star Wars printed brick. Now, I'm going to say this again. I've said this in the past because we've covered this same brick with some other sets. I really enjoy the blue and the silver on that black background. It just pops so well. Really nice detailed. Yeah, great printed brick. Alrighty, let's go ahead and talk about the plaque that comes with the UCS Tie Interceptor. Now, I know a lot of people have some contention when it comes to this specific plaque, and to be honest with you, I'm kind of right there with them. Now, this is indeed just free floating in the box, and so it does tend to have scratches right when you take it out of the box. Now, I'm not sure if the camera can actually pick up some of these smudges and scratches, but these are actual scratches that are on the finish itself. I'm going to put some B-roll of this specific plaque in some actual natural lighting without being cleaned and then with being brushed off to try to get rid of some fingerprints and whatnot. But yeah, I'm not sure why they decided to go back to the kind of glossy finish on this. You can totally tell that it's not holding up very well, and there's some very fine micro hazing on the plaque itself. And again, it's very hard for the camera to pick up, but believe me, it is there. Now let's compare this to the X-Wing, which had a matte finish on it. All right, so this is the plaque from the UCS X-Wing. And as you can see here, it has that matte finish. Now, I can tell you this right now, this was actually pulled straight out of the box because I ended up getting the Interceptor as well as the X-Wing together on May the 1st. So I legitimately just pulled this plaque out of the box. And as you can see here, it has very little damage at all, and it's just floating around in the box, the same thing like the TIE Interceptor was. And I think it's because of that gloss finish. Now, I didn't even wipe it off. I didn't try to clean it, nothing. I just pulled it out of the box like this. Now, in my own personal opinion, I would love for both of these to match because they should, but they decided to go back to that gloss finish. in my opinion, I feel like the colors pop way more on a matte background that they do on, well, on that glossy background. And as you can see here, I don't know. For me personally, and I'm guessing maybe this might just be something of a preference, and maybe I'm just showing my bias, but I really like the way that the matte looks when it comes to the way that it shows off the colors and just the finish overall compared to the way that the glossy one looks. I don't know, there's some scratching, some hazing on it. I really wish that they would have kept the same plaque from the X-Wing, so number one, they could match, but also so that it kind of holds up, especially if it's just going to be floating around in the box. It's gonna end up getting scratched. So, I don't know. I guess it is what it is. Okay, so without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about the UCS Tie Interceptor. This thing is absolutely gorgeous and extremely fun to build. Just looking at the curvature of the wings and just the shapes that they were able to pull off, that curvature of the roundness of the cockpit, and the detailing as well as the greebling on this is just secondary to none. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous set to have, to own, to display, to build. It just checks all the right boxes. Now, I'm going to go ahead and show you the size of this thing because you are going to need some space if you're going to want to go ahead and display this on some shelves or whatnot. So I'm going to go ahead and use my hand to represent the size of how big this UCS set is. So as you can see here, I'm just maybe about an inch away from touching the actual front of the cockpit, and it is dwarfing my hands. This is a gorgeous set, but I wouldn't expect anything less from a UCS set. They're supposed to be bigger, more detailed, worth the price of admission, and this definitely is. This right here is the base of the Tie Interceptor. Now I know it does look like a pretty small stand for such a large winged aircraft as the Tie Interceptor. It really does, but it actually holds up pretty well. Now if I can get this camera to focus, there you go. So that's where the actual base attaches to the set. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and obviously attach the base, and I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a shake test so you can see that it is stable. Now it is going to move a little bit, but it's not going to topple over or any of that stuff. So let's get to that. I'm going to go ahead and hit it from each side so that you can see that there is going to be a little bit of wobble, but it is going to hold up, and the base is big enough to hold this size of this set. So let's go ahead and try this out right here. As you can see here, kind of hitting it from both sides, it is holding up to the shaking, and I'm actually hitting it pretty pretty hard, and these wings and the system that connects them to the center is doing a damn good job, in my opinion, of keeping these wings steady because this is pretty heavy. Now let's hit it from the side over here. And as you can see there is some wobble and there is some length, but it's not coming up off of the table if you look down here at the bottom. So it is holding up pretty well. But you're obviously not going to want to hit this thing really hard because then it probably will separate from the bottom and then topple over, and then you're going to have to rebuild this bad boy, but it's doing its job. Now, one of the things that I did want to point out, which I'm never a fan of, and I've never been a fan of when it comes to building Lego, is going to be those pieces that have just a single contact point. I've never been a fan of that, and this build does have some of that. Now, it's not egregious. It's not something that's going to make it frustrating to move this build around, but depending on where you press and where you hold this set at, well, there is a potential for that. So, for an example, this is actually right here a single contact point, and you just literally just have to easily, let me get this camera to focus, and it's just easily pops right off. And I've never been a fan of that, just in case, you know, you have some people that want to look at the set and they want to kind of touch and feel, and boom, they knock something off and then they think, oh no, I've broken it. You know, one of those things. It's just never a good thing to have single contact points. The fact that this is a displayable set and you're not going to be swooshing this thing around, makes a ton of sense why there might be some single contact points. But when moving things around, let's just say you're having to reorganize your Lego setup, well, there is an instance where you could hit a piece off and you're having to go ahead and knock that back on. So yeah, just a little bit of a heads up. Just wanted to make sure that I covered that because that's one thing that I look for in making a build. So I went ahead and pulled the set a little bit closer to the camera so we can go ahead and take a look at some of the greebling and angles of the UCS Tie Interceptor. Now, first off, you can see there that this is a printed piece in the front, which is that glass shielding of the cockpit. Very detailed and nicely done. Now, you can tell here the roundness and the curvature of the cockpit is just perfect, and in my opinion is gorgeous, as well as the angles that they were able to pull off with the fuselage as well as the greebling. This is a very nice set to display. Now, I thought this was pretty funny. I wanted to make sure that I pointed it out. If you take a close-up here on the front of the cockpit, those are actually Lego game controllers that were used for some of the detailing. I just think that's funny. Also, a pretty funny thing that I wanted to go ahead and point out is in the inside of the cockpit build, those little panels that are holding up those sticker pieces, they're actually held together and held onto the walls of the cockpit with like some old school element pistols from like, I think the pirate era, which I think is just a cool way to use some older elements and to implement them into the build, as well as shovels on the side here that are supposed to be showing off the targeting system for the Tie Interceptor. Hey, use all the pieces, make them work. I think it's just a great way that Lego reuses some of their elements. Turning it around to the back, as you can see here, is the second printed piece that you get in this set. Now you can see that the greebling that was done on the front then carries over to the back and is just very well designed and detailed. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm hoping that I'm not going to break anything. As you can see here, it is a little unstable. It's a very, very heavy set, but it's a UCS set, so that's kind of what you expect. I'm going to tilt it up so that you can see the back side of the Tie Interceptor, but it's very detailed and it's very well done. This is an amazing set. Flipping the set over to its side, you can see here the massive wingspan of the Tie Interceptor. Now, for some people, they wanted the wings to be completely tiled off. I'm a little bit indifferent. I do like the exposed stud look of these wings, but if they were all tiled off, that would look great as well. Now, focusing on the center of the wings themselves, you can see here that it is beautifully greebled with so much detail. They did such a good job on the wings of the Tie Interceptor. Just look at that shape. It's gorgeous. When it comes to the sticker sheet that was provided with this set, they're actually all placed inside the cockpit. Now, I knew that once you had the build fully put together that it was probably going to be very difficult to see those stickers placed where they're supposed to go. So what I went ahead and did is I took some B-roll of the actual build process to show you the inside of the cockpit before you got the surrounding greebling all into place. Now, as you can see here in the B-roll, you will see that the stickers are very detailed and they actually do hold up and provide some very nice visuals for the cockpit. After the build is fully put together, you simply just have to lift at the top of the Tie Interceptor and you still can gain access to the cockpit. So let me just show you that right here. You just simply pull back on this and the top will swing open, giving you the ability of looking inside. Well, that brings us to the end of the review for the UCS Tie Interceptor. In my opinion, this set is absolutely gorgeous. The way they were able to pull off the curvature and the roundness of the cockpit, or just the detailing and all of the greebling that's on the fuselage, or just how well put together the wings are. And I mean, you can just tell here, there's no sagging, there's no sloping. Structurally, this thing was built very, very well. Just the two things that I'm going to have to say here that I have to repeat is going to be those single contact pieces. Again, this is a displayable set, so if you're just going to be putting it there and never moving it again, then that point is kind of moot. But I've never been a fan of it, so I just wanted to make sure that I pointed that out. But the big thing is going to end up being that plaque. It's unfortunate that a UCS set has a plaque that out of the box is going to have some form of damage, whether that's going to be this weird hazing where you can tell it's rubbing up against packages, or some defects in general, some scratches and stuff like that. It's unfortunate for a set that is a UCS set. But I think knowing that information before making your purchase, which is what I did, I went ahead and watched some reviews of some LAN content creators, and I knew that purchasing this set, more than likely the plaque was going to have some form of damage. Well, I knew that going in, so I was okay with it because of how beautiful this set is. So as long as you know, you're going to need to make your choice whether this is worth the expenditure or not. But that's going to be based on you. If you found this review informative, do me a favor and hit it with a like. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do yourself a favor and subscribe to the channel if you're wanting to see more LEGO content like this, or just LEGO content in general. Well, you got to subscribe. Hit the notification bell. It just drops you a nice little notification letting you know that we've dropped new content. Let me know in the comment section below, did you indeed purchase this set, and how did your plaque come out of that box? Was there any kind of weird scratches or defects on it? Let us know in the comment section below. Also, what do you think about how gorgeous this set looks? Let us know in those comments. Well, I'll see you in the next one.